You're watching Kingston Now. This week we're meeting the candidates for Ulster County District Attorney's Office. And with us now is the current DA, Holley Carnright. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Holley, can you tell us what the function of the District Attorney's Office is?
Our primary function is to prosecute crime. When we set up a criminal justice system a long time ago, we decided here in New York State that it would be important to have a local prosecutor. There are many states and many jurisdictions that have broader-based prosecutions. For instance, in the western states, they have a statewide prosecutor. Here in New York State, the people decided that they wanted to have a local prosecutor, and they created a law which establishes the jurisdiction of one individual, the district attorney in each county, that has the authority to prosecute crime. So the first thing that we do, our primary function, is to prosecute people who commit crimes.
You started your career as an assistant district attorney in Ulster County.
I did.
And you did that for about 10 years, is that right?
Closer to 5 years.
Okay.
I was hired out of law school by a guy named Mike Cavanaugh and became his chief assistant district attorney pretty quick, about a year and a half, and worked with now Judge Cavanaugh, trying a lot of pretty heavy cases. It was a very interesting experience for a young attorney. From there I went into becoming an assistant public defender, and I worked with my dad. My dad was an attorney in Saugerties, and for about 25 years I had a private practice, did a lot of work in family court and Supreme Court, but I wanted to maintain my presence in the criminal justice system, and I was an assistant public defender for about 25 years. And then more recently I ran for office and has been elected the district attorney.
What brought you back to this side of the table?
Well, it's an interesting question. I was actually out of town, and a couple of things happened which were pretty interesting, one of which is that the district attorney, which I think most people assumed he would run again, very popular, very successful district attorney, and for whatever reason he decided not to run. And when I got back from this brief vacation, people called and said, would you be interested in running? And I promptly said no. I was very content in what I was doing. I enjoyed my practice. I frankly had a successful law practice. And people talked to me, and actually I had a breakfast one time with a couple of influential people, and they started to push the right buttons about service and service to your community and things like that, and I said, okay, I'll run, and so I did.
Is an election your least favorite part of this job?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because it can get kind of, contentious, and John Sennett, who is running against you, has you're running on your record, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, but he seems to be running on your record too. And he's raised these issues of what he calls public integrity. Mm-hmm. How do you respond to that?
Well, in a broad sense, the first question is it much fun to do? And the answer is no. I'm to be honest with you, I'm quite proud of my record. I think I have one of the best district attorney's offices in the state. Our conviction rate is phenomenal. Our relationship with the police agencies is really extraordinary. I think I've done all the things that I promised I would do when I ran. And I was hoping that the voters would have a chance to look at the two candidates and compare them. We're pretty different. John's approach to criminal justice is a lot different than mine. His platform when he ran 4 years ago was quite, in my judgment, a liberal platform, which is fine. I'm a little bit more conservative. And I think that's a nice contrast and a chance for the voters to take a look and make a decision. Unfortunately, the campaign has turned into a different type of campaign. That is not as, I think, informative to the voting public, and certainly it's not much fun. But it's part of the process. I accept that.
Well, he's made specific allegations in instances of the Timothy Matthews case of not recusing yourself. Mm-hmm. How do you respond to that specifically?
Okay. So the Tim Matthews case is a situation for the people who aren't familiar with it. Tim Matthews is a former detective lieutenant in the Kingston Police Department, and he's been indicted for a fairly serious series of larcenies from different accounts that he had access to. It seemed ironic to me when my opponent first came out and said that he thought it was inappropriate that it be prosecuting Tim Matthews, and I couldn't disagree more. I think it's exactly what the people put me here to do. It's no one knows the case better than I do. No one knows the circumstances better than I do. I've never shied away from a tough case. I'm certainly not going to shy away from this one.
This is Kingston Now. We will wrap up our conversation with Ulster County District Attorney Holley Carnright next.